She stood frozen in the doorway, tears streaming down her face as she stared at the man who had once broken her heart, now cradling a small child in his arms. How could fate be so cruel, bringing her to work as a tutor in the home of the very person who had rejected her all those years ago? But what happened next would change everything she thought she knew about love, forgiveness, and second chances. If you're enjoying this story of unexpected reconnection and healing, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us how life's most painful moments can lead to our greatest blessings. Mia Bennett clutched her leather portfolio tightly against her chest as she approached the elegant two-story house. The autumn wind scattered crisp leaves across the manicured lawn, mirroring the nervous flutter in her stomach. At 28, she had finally finished her teaching degree after years of night classes and exhausting side jobs. This tutoring position was supposed to be her fresh start, a chance to build experience while she applied for full-time teaching positions. She checked the address on her phone one more time. This was definitely the place. The Morgan residence. The ad had been straightforward: single parent seeking after-school tutor for a struggling 7-year-old. The pay was generous, the hours perfect. What could go wrong? Mia rang the doorbell, smoothing down her navy blue blazer and tucking a strand of chestnut hair behind her ear. She had prepared extensively for this meeting, researching the latest teaching techniques for children with learning difficulties. She was ready. The door swung open, and Mia's carefully constructed composure shattered instantly. "Mia?" The man's voice was exactly as she remembered it, deep, with that slight rasp that had once made her heart race. "James." His name fell from her lips like a stone. James Morgan. The man who had dated her for 3 years in college before abruptly ending things, claiming he wasn't ready for something serious. The man who had left her devastated, questioning her worth, and spiraling into a depression that had derailed her education for years. And now, here he stood, older, with subtle lines around his eyes and silver threading through his dark hair at the temples. Still handsome. Still tall. Still the man who had broken her heart. I didn't know," she stammered, already backing away. "I should go." "Wait," James called, his expression a mixture of shock and something else, regret. "Please, don't leave. I didn't know it was you either. The agency just sent your credentials." Mia hesitated, one foot already on the step below. "This is a mistake." "Daddy? Who's at the door?" A small voice called from inside the house. James glanced over his shoulder, then back at Mia. "That's Emma. She's waiting for her tutor. She's been struggling in school, and she was so excited that someone was coming to help her today." Guilt tugged at Mia's conscience. This wasn't about her or James. This was about a child who needed help. "Please," James said softly. "Just come in and meet her. If you still want to leave after that, I'll understand. I'll call the agency and request someone else." Against her better judgment, Mia nodded and stepped inside. The house was warm and inviting, with children's artwork proudly displayed on the refrigerator and a collection of well-worn stuffed animals piled on the living room sofa. It wasn't what she had expected from the James she had known, the ambitious business major who had talked endlessly about his plans for a sleek, minimalist apartment in the city. A small girl with dark curls and James's hazel eyes peered at her from behind the kitchen counter. She wore a pink unicorn sweater and clutched a math workbook to her chest. "Emma, this is Ms. Bennett. She's going to be your tutor," James said gently. Emma approached cautiously, studying Mia with the serious expression only a 7-year-old could master. "Do you like unicorns?" she asked, her voice small but direct. Mia couldn't help but smile. "I love unicorns. I had unicorn bed sheets until I was 12. Emma's face lit up. "I have unicorn sheets too. And a unicorn lamp and a unicorn rug." "Well, it sounds like we're going to get along just fine," Mia said, kneeling to Emma's level. "I hear you've been having some trouble with math." Emma's smile faded slightly. I'm not good at it. The numbers get all mixed up in my head. You know what? I used to have the same problem when I was your age, Mia confided. But I learned some tricks that helped me, and I bet they'll help you too. Hope flickered in Emma's eyes. Really? Really? Should we give it a try? Emma nodded enthusiastically, already leading Mia toward the dining room table where her schoolbooks were spread out. James watched them, a complex emotion crossing his face. I'll make some snacks while you two work, he offered, disappearing into the kitchen. For the next hour, Mia focused entirely on Emma, using colored pencils and small candies to make multiplication more tangible. By the time James returned with a plate of apple slices and cheese, Emma was giggling as she correctly solved problem after problem. Look, Daddy! I did it! Emma exclaimed, proudly displaying her worksheet. That's amazing, sweetheart, James said, genuine pride in his voice. He glanced at Mia. Thank you. Those two simple words carried the weight of their shared history, and Mia found herself nodding stiffly. It's my job. After they finished the lesson, Emma ran upstairs to get a book she wanted to show Mia, leaving the adults in an uncomfortable silence. I didn't know you became a teacher, James finally said. It took me longer than planned, Mia replied, unable to keep the edge from her voice. Life got complicated for a while. James winced. Mia, about what happened between us. It was a long time ago, she interrupted. We don't need to talk about it. Maybe we do, he said quietly. I owe you an explanation. You don't owe me anything, James. You made your choice. A choice I've regretted every day since, he admitted, running a hand through his hair, a nervous gesture she remembered all too well. I was young and stupid and scared. Mia gathered her teaching materials, shoving them into her bag with more force than necessary. Like I said, it was a long time ago. What matters now is Emma. She's a bright girl, but she needs consistent support. I think she might have dyscalculia, a learning disability that affects how the brain processes numbers. I can work with her, but you should consider having her evaluated. James looked momentarily taken aback by her professional assessment, then nodded. I'll look into it. Does this mean, you'll come back? Mia hesitated. Every instinct told her to walk away, to protect herself from reopening old wounds. But Emma's excited face flashed in her mind. I'll come back for Emma, she said firmly. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 to 5:30. Relief washed over James's face. Thank you. As Mia drove home that evening, her emotions churned like a storm. She had spent years trying to forget James Morgan, and now she would be seeing him twice a week. But there was something different about him, a gentleness, a humility that hadn't been there before. And there was Emma, a sweet child who clearly needed her help. What Mia didn't know then was that this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything she thought she knew about forgiveness, healing, and the possibility of second chances. Over the next few weeks, Mia settled into a routine with Emma. The girl was making remarkable progress, her confidence growing with each session. Mia found herself looking forward to their time together, bringing special materials and games designed to make learning fun for a child with Emma-specific challenges. James was always present but respectful of their space, working quietly in his home office during their sessions and emerging only to offer snacks or check on Emma's progress. Occasionally, their eyes would meet across the room, and Mia would feel that familiar tug, a mixture of old pain and something new she couldn't quite identify. It was during their fourth session that Mia noticed the absence of any mother in Emma's life. There were no women's belongings in the house, no photos of Emma with a mother figure. Her curiosity finally got the better of her professional boundaries. Emma, can I ask you something? Mia said gently as they packed up their materials one Thursday afternoon. Sure, Ms. Bennett. Where's your mom? Does she live somewhere else? Emma's small face grew serious. I don't have a mom. Daddy says she's an angel in heaven now. She died when I was a baby, so I don't remember her. Mia's heart constricted. I'm sorry, Emma. It's okay. Daddy says she loved me very much, and she watches over me. Sometimes I talk to her before I go to sleep. Emma's matter-of-fact acceptance of her loss was both heartbreaking and inspiring. Later, after Emma had gone upstairs to play, James found Mia gathering her things in the living room. She told you about Caroline, he said quietly. Mia nodded. I'm sorry for your loss. I shouldn't have asked her. It's all right. Emma's used to the question. James sat down heavily on the sofa. Caroline and I met about a year after you and I broke up. She was kind and funny and understood me in a way I didn't deserve. We got married quickly, and Emma came along soon after. He paused, his eyes distant with memory. When Emma was 8 months old, Caroline was diagnosed with an aggressive form of leukemia. She was gone within 6 months. James, I had no idea, Mia whispered, her earlier resentment softening in the face of his pain. How could you? He gave a sad smile. I was suddenly a widower with a baby, completely unprepared for single parenthood. My parents helped a lot in those early years, but it's been just Emma and me for a long time now. Mia sat down across from him, her professional detachment wavering. Emma is an amazing child. You've done a good job with her. I've tried, James said, vulnerability evident in his voice. But I worry about her all the time. The learning difficulties, the lack of a mother figure. I'm afraid I'm not enough. You are, Mia assured him, surprising herself with her sincerity. Children need love and stability more than anything, and it's clear Emma has both. James looked at her with gratitude. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for helping her. She talks about you constantly, you know. Ms. Bennett says this and Ms. Bennett showed me that. You've made such a difference in just a few weeks. Mia felt a warmth spread through her chest at his words. She's a joy to teach. As she drove home that evening, Mia found herself reflecting on how quickly her perception of James had changed. The selfish boy who had broken her heart had become a devoted father doing his best in difficult circumstances. It didn't erase the past, but it added layers of complexity to the simple narrative she had constructed about him over the years. The weeks turned into months, and as winter settled over the city, Mia found herself becoming increasingly integrated into Emma's life. What had started as twice-weekly tutoring sessions expanded to include helping with school projects, attending Emma's winter concert, and even joining them for dinner occasionally when sessions ran late. Emma's academic progress was remarkable. Her teacher had noticed the improvement, and after a formal evaluation confirmed Mia's suspicion of dyscalculia, the school had implemented additional support measures. Emma was thriving, her natural intelligence no longer obscured by her learning challenges. As for Mia and James, their relationship had evolved into a cautious friendship. The tension of their first meeting had gradually given way to a comfortable familiarity. They still avoided discussing their past relationship directly, but the sharp edges of Mia's resentment had softened considerably. One snowy evening in December, after Emma had gone to bed, James invited Mia to stay for a cup of tea. They sat in the living room, watching the snow fall outside the large bay window. I never thanked you properly, James said, breaking the comfortable silence. For helping Emma? You've thanked me many times, Mia replied, cradling her mug between her hands. Not just for that. For giving me a second chance at all. He turned to face her fully. You had every right to walk away that first day. Mia studied the steam rising from her tea. I almost did. Why didn't you? Emma, she said simply. She needed help, and I couldn't let my personal feelings get in the way of that. James nodded slowly. You always did put others first. That's one of the things I... He trailed off, looking away. One of the things you what? Mia prompted, her heart beating a little faster. One of the things I loved about you, he finished quietly. One of the many things. The word hung between them, heavy with implication. James. I know, he interrupted. I know it's not fair of me to say that now, after everything. But seeing you with Emma, getting to know the woman you've become, it's made me realize how much I lost when I let you go. Mia set her mug down carefully. Why did you let me go, James? You never really explained. One day we were planning our future, and the next you were telling me you weren't ready for something serious. James was quiet for a long moment. I was terrified, he finally admitted. We were so young, and you were so certain about everything, what you wanted, who you wanted to be. I felt like I was drowning in expectations, not just yours but my parents', my professors', everyone's. When you started talking about moving in together after graduation, something in me just panicked. So you ended it, Mia said, old pain resurfacing despite her best efforts. I ran away, he corrected. It was the biggest mistake of my life, and I've regretted it every day since. Meeting Caroline, having Emma, I'm grateful for them both, and I wouldn't change that part of my journey. But I've often wondered what might have been if I'd been brave enough to stay with you. Mia felt tears prickling behind her eyes. I was devastated, James. I thought there was something wrong with me, something that made me unlovable. God, Mia, no, James said, anguish in his voice. It was never you. It was my own immaturity, my own fear. You were perfect, too perfect for the boy I was then. I wasn't perfect, she said softly. I was just a girl who loved you. Their eyes met across the space between them, years of unspoken words and feelings passing in that gaze. I should go, Mia said, standing abruptly. It's getting late, and the roads will be bad with the snow. James stood too, not trying to stop her but clearly wanting to say more. Will you still come on Thursday? For Emma? Of course, Mia assured him. I wouldn't let her down. As she drove home through the gently falling snow, Mia's mind was a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. James's confession had reopened wounds she thought had long since healed, but it had also offered a kind of closure she hadn't realized she needed. He had been afraid, not rejecting her, but running from his own fears. The knowledge didn't erase the years of pain, but it shifted something fundamental in how she viewed their shared history. And more troublingly, it awakened feelings she had worked hard to bury. The holiday season brought a natural pause to their routine. Emma's school closed for winter break, and Mia had planned to visit her parents in a neighboring state. The night before her departure, she stopped by the Morgan house to drop off a Christmas gift for Emma, a set of books about a young girl detective who used math to solve mysteries. Emma was ecstatic, throwing her arms around Mia's waist in a tight hug. Thank you, Ms. Bennet. Will you read one with me before you go? Emma, James gently admonished, Ms. Bennet probably needs to finish packing for her trip. Actually, I'm all packed, Mia said, unable to resist Emma's hopeful expression. I have time for one chapter. They settled on the couch, Emma nestled between them as Mia began to read. The domestic intimacy of the moment wasn't lost on Mia, how natural it felt to be here with them, how much she would miss this little family during her time away. After Emma went to bed, James walked Mia to her car, a small wrapped package in his hand. This is for you, he said, offering it to her. Just a small thank you for everything you've done for Emma. Mia unwrapped the package carefully to reveal a delicate silver bracelet with a small charm, a unicorn. James, it's beautiful, she whispered, running her finger over the intricate details. Emma helped pick it out, he explained. She said since you both love unicorns, it would remind you of her while you're away. I love it, Mia said, her voice thick with emotion. Would you help me put it on? As James fastened the bracelet around her wrist, his fingers lingered for just a moment longer than necessary. The touch sent a familiar warmth through her that she couldn't ignore. Merry Christmas, Mia, he said softly. Merry Christmas, James. The 2 weeks away from Emma and James gave me a much-needed perspective. Surrounded by her loving but nosy family, she found herself constantly fielding questions about that single dad and his daughter she kept mentioning. Her mother, always perceptive, cornered her in the kitchen on Christmas Eve. "You're falling for him again, aren't you?" she asked directly. "Mom, it's complicated," Mia sighed. "There's history there." "History is just that, history," her mother replied, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "The question is whether there's a future." That question haunted Mia throughout her visit. By the time she returned to the city in early January, she had made a decision. She would maintain professional boundaries with James while continuing to tutor Emma. Her heart couldn't take another shattering. But life, as it often does, had other plans. The first tutoring session after the holidays was filled with Emma's excited chatter about Christmas presents and family visits. Mia noticed immediately that something was off with James. He seemed distracted, checking his phone constantly and disappearing into his office for hushed conversations. When Emma went to the bathroom, Mia couldn't help but ask, "Is everything okay?" James ran a hand through his hair, a gesture she now recognized as a sign of stress. "My father had a heart attack 2 days ago. He's stable, but they're talking about bypass surgery." "James, I'm so sorry," Mia said, instinctively reaching for his hand. "Is there anything I can do?" "Actually, yes," he admitted. "My parents live about 3 hours away. I need to go see them this weekend, but I'm worried about Emma. She's already anxious about her grandfather, and I don't want to expose her to the hospital environment yet." "You need someone to watch her," Mia concluded. James nodded. "I hate to ask, but she's comfortable with you, and I trust you completely. It would just be Friday evening through Sunday afternoon." The request crossed the careful boundary Mia had drawn for herself, but she couldn't refuse. "Of course I'll stay with her. Just give me the details, and we'll be fine." Relief washed over James's face. "Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you." Those words echoed in Mia's mind as she packed an overnight bag that Friday. She was stepping into a more intimate role in their lives, not just Emma's tutor, but someone they relied on in a crisis. The implications both thrilled and terrified her. The weekend with Emma proved to be a revelation. They baked cookies, built blanket forts, and watched animated movies. Emma showed Mia her entire unicorn collection and insisted they have a unicorn tea party, complete with glitter and fairy lights. In quiet moments, Emma asked thoughtful questions about her grandfather's condition, displaying a maturity that touched Mia deeply. On Saturday night, after tucking Emma into bed, Mia received a video call from James. "How's everything going?" he asked, the hospital corridor visible behind him. "We're having a wonderful time," Mia assured him. "Emma's been amazing." "How's your dad?" "Better than expected. The doctors are optimistic." James's expression softened. "Emma looks happy." "Thank you for doing this." "It's my pleasure, truly." After they hung up, Mia wandered through the quiet house, looking at family photos she hadn't noticed before. There were several of James with a beautiful blonde woman, Caroline, she presumed, looking radiant in their wedding photos and later cradling a newborn Emma. The images of their happiness brought an unexpected pang of sadness, not jealousy but genuine sorrow for what James and Emma had lost. On another wall, she found older photos, including one that made her heart stop. It was James and her, at a college football game, his arm around her shoulders as they both laughed at something off camera. She remembered that day perfectly, the crisp autumn air, the excitement of the crowd, the feeling that their love could conquer anything. He had kept their photo. All these years, through marriage and fatherhood and loss, he had kept this memory of them. When James returned on Sunday afternoon, Emma ran to him with excited tales of their adventures. Mia watched their reunion, a bittersweet ache in her chest. This was what family looked like, this connection, this unconditional love. Thank you again, James said as he walked her to her car later. Knowing Emma was with you gave me such peace of mind. Anytime, Mia replied, meaning it more than she had intended. She's a special girl. She adores you, James said quietly. And so do I. The words hung in the cold January air between them. James. I know the timing is terrible, he continued. I know we have a complicated past. But these last few months, having you in our lives, it's felt right, Mia. Like maybe the universe is giving us a second chance. Mia took a deep breath. I'm scared, James. I've built my life back up after what happened between us. I can't go through that again. I'm not the same person I was then, he said, taking a step closer. Life has a way of growing you up fast. Losing Caroline, raising Emma alone, I've learned what matters. And what I feel for you now is deeper than what I felt back then, because I know what it means to lose someone precious. Tears welled in Mia's eyes. What about Emma? Have you thought about how confusing this could be for her? Emma is the one who asked me why I don't just marry you, James said with a small smile. She said, Daddy, Ms. Bennett makes you smile like in the old pictures, and she helps me with math. She should stay forever. Despite herself, Mia laughed through her tears. She's quite the matchmaker. She's perceptive, James corrected. But I'm not proposing marriage, Mia. I'm just asking for a chance, a real chance for us to see what might be possible now, as the people we've become. Mia looked into his eyes, seeing not the boy who had broken her heart but the man who had pieced his life together through tragedy and responsibility. The man who had kept her photo all these years. One step at a time, she finally said. Maybe we could start with dinner? Just the two of us? The smile that broke across James's face was like sunrise after a long night. I'd like that very much. Spring arrived with new beginnings. Emma's academic progress had been so significant that she no longer needed intensive tutoring, though Mia still helped with homework several times a week. The nature of her visits had changed, however. She was no longer just Emma's tutor but a regular presence in their lives. Her relationship with James had blossomed cautiously, both of them mindful of their history and of Emma's place in their evolving dynamic. They had dinner dates while Emma stayed with James's parents, who had fully recovered from his health scare. They took Emma on weekend outings to museums and parks, gradually building a comfortable rhythm as a trio. One warm April evening, as they walked through the botanical gardens, Emma ran ahead to examine a butterfly garden, leaving Mia and James momentarily alone on the path. I have something to tell you, James said, taking her hand. I've been offered a promotion at work. James, that's wonderful. Mia exclaimed. It would mean more responsibility, but also more flexibility to work from home, he continued. And, it would mean I could finally afford to move to a better school district for Emma. Mia's heart sank slightly. Oh. So you'd be moving away? That depends, James said, stopping to face her fully. I was hoping you might consider moving with us. Mia stared at him, speechless. I know it's soon, he hurried on. And I know your apartment lease isn't up until fall. But Mia, these past months have shown me that what we have, what we could build together, is rare and precious. I don't want to lose you again. Are you asking me to move in with you? Mia clarified, her heart racing. I'm asking you to help me create a home, for Emma, for us, for the family we could be. James took both her hands in his. I love you, Mia. I think I never really stopped, even when I was too young and foolish to recognize what we had. Tears filled Mia's eyes as years of pain, growth, and newfound joy converged in this moment. I love you too, James. And I love Emma. So is that a yes? He asked, hope brightening his features. It's a yes, she whispered. One step at a time, remember? But yes, I want to build a life with you both. Their kiss was interrupted by Emma's excited voice. "Are you going to be my mom now, Ms. Bennet?" They broke apart to find Emma watching them with undisguised delight. James knelt down to her level. "Sweetheart, Mia and I care about each other very much, and we're going to be spending more time together as a family. But these things take time." "But she makes you happy," Emma insisted. "And she helps me with math. And she likes unicorns." Mia laughed, kneeling beside James. "Those are all excellent points, Emma. And I love spending time with both of you. How would you feel about us all living in the same house someday soon?" Emma's face lit up. "Really? Would you read me stories every night?" "Every night," Mia promised. "And would you still help me with math even though I'm getting better?" "Absolutely." Emma considered this seriously, then nodded. "Okay. But can I still call you Ms. Bennet?" "I'm used to it." "You can call me whatever makes you comfortable," Mia assured her, touched by the child's thoughtfulness. "For now," Emma decided. "Maybe later I'll call you something else." As they continued their walk through the gardens, Emma between them holding both their hands, Mia marveled at life's unexpected turns. 8 months ago, she had stood on James's doorstep, ready to flee from painful memories. Now, she was embracing a future she could never have imagined, a second chance at love, and the gift of a child who had captured her heart completely. 1 year later, Mia stood in the backyard of their new home, watching as Emma chased Bubbles across the freshly mowed lawn. James appeared beside her, slipping an arm around her waist. "Penny for your thoughts?" he asked, pressing a kiss to her temple. "I was just thinking about that first day," Mia replied, leaning into him. "When I showed up at your door and almost ran away. How different our lives would be if I had." "I'm grateful every day that you stayed," James said softly. "Me too," she agreed, twisting the engagement ring that now adorned her left hand. The proposal had come on Emma's 8th birthday, with Emma herself presenting the ring on top of a unicorn-shaped cake. "Mia. Daddy. Look how high I can jump," Emma called, demonstrating her athletic prowess with enthusiasm. "Amazing, sweetheart," James called back. As they watched Emma play, Mia reflected on the journey that had brought them here. The pain of rejection had led to years of struggle, but it had also shaped her into the woman she needed to become. James's loss had transformed him from a frightened boy into a devoted father and partner. And Emma, innocent in all of it, had somehow become the bridge that connected their broken pieces into something whole and beautiful. "Do you ever wonder if Caroline somehow had a hand in bringing us back together?" Mia asked quietly. It was a question she'd contemplated often but never voiced. James was silent for a moment. "I do," he finally admitted. "She always told me that love was the most important thing, that if anything happened to her, she wanted Emma and me to find happiness again. Sometimes I think she's been watching over us, guiding us back to where we were always meant to be." Mia squeezed his hand, touched by his openness. "I like to think so too." Emma bounded over to them, slightly out of breath. "Can we have ice cream? Please?" After dinner, James promised. "Can I call Grandma and Grandpa tonight?" Emma continued, her mind already racing to the next thought. "I want to tell them about my science project." "Of course," Mia said. "They'll be so proud of you." Emma beamed, then looked thoughtfully at Mia. "I've been thinking about something." "What's that, sweetheart?" Mia asked. "After you and Daddy get married, would it be okay if I called you Mom?" Emma's question was asked with such earnest simplicity that Mia felt her heart might burst. "Oh, Emma," she whispered, kneeling to the child's level. "I would be honored. But only if you're absolutely sure." Emma nodded decisively. "I'm sure. I asked my angel mom in heaven, and I think she said it's okay." Tears sprang to Mia's eyes as she pulled Emma into a tight embrace. Over the child's shoulder, she saw James watching them, his own eyes glistening. This was what had shocked her most about meeting James again after all those years, not that life had changed him, or that she could forgive the past, but that love could come full circle in such unexpected ways. That rejection could lead to redirection, and that sometimes the longest, most painful paths led exactly where you were meant to be all along. As the three of them headed inside together, Mia knew with absolute certainty that some stories weren't meant to end with heartbreak. Some were just waiting for the right time to begin again. If this story of unexpected reconnection and second chances touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Life's most beautiful moments often come after our greatest pain, and sometimes, what seems like rejection is just the universe's way of preparing us for something even more wonderful. Share your own stories of unexpected love in the comments below, and join us next week for another journey into the heart's remarkable capacity for healing and hope.